Viva La Veggie. It's an event coming up in Spencer County that we're going to talk with the DuBois County Extension Educator, Jan Dougan, about in this edition of WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Thanks for joining us. Jan, you know, there's an event coming up, and I believe it's April 2nd.
Yes.
In Spencer County called Viva La Veggie. We're going to talk about what Viva La Veggie is in a minute, but it's in Spencer County. You're the DuBois County Extension Educator. You guys work together a lot with each other?
Yes, we do. In fact, in southwest Indiana, if you think about the counties along the river, so there's Posey, Vanderburgh, Warwick, Perry, Spencer, and then we come up to DuBois and Gibson and Pike and Knox and Davies and Martin, that 10-county area. The extension educators for health and human sciences work together to do programming for our area.
That is really neat that you can do that and come together. Now, we have an event coming up in Spencer County, Viva La Veggie.
Yes.
What's it about?
Viva La Veggie will be at the Spencer County 4-H Fairgrounds, and we'll be in their new community building. I don't know if you knew that they built a new community building down there, so this will be one of our first area events that we have at the new community building. So
Which is on the old 4-H Fairgrounds.
It is. It's on the old 4-H Fairgrounds, so that's just south of Christney there. Easy access by the highway, and we're looking forward to utilizing that facility for this program.
Okay, what is Viva La Veggie? I'm assuming it has to do with vegetables.
It does, it does. So it's this time of the year when we're all thinking about our gardens and what we might want to be planting in our gardens this year. So we're going to include some information to help people and encourage people to think about maybe planting a few different vegetables this year in their gardens. So we're going to have a special session on container gardening and the benefits of utilizing containers for gardening, and also what vegetables you might want to think about planting in your garden and whether you want to start them from plants or start them from seeds. So we're going to have a special guest speaker talk about that. All the different extension educators for health and human sciences in the area are going to be doing cooking demonstrations. So we each have been given a vegetable that we're going to actually talk about the nutrient value of that vegetable. We're going to talk about how to prepare, how to store, maybe even a little information on preserving, because I know some of the produce from our gardens we like to preserve. And we're going to do a cooking demonstration, so those attending will get a taste.
What's your vegetable?
Kale.
Kale. Ooh.
Kale.
Now to me,
kale,
that would
it's
be
one of the new superfoods.
Okay.
And I want people to understand the wonderful ways that you can utilize kale, whether it be fresh or sauteing it or making kale chips. You can make kale chips. A number of different ways. I've been researching and doing some experimenting at home, and going to come up with a recipe to demonstrate that I really think everyone will enjoy.
And kale is a really dark leafy vegetable, correct?
Yes, correct.
Right? Does it grow off a bulb?
It grows kind of like spinach.
Okay.
So it's very similar to spinach. It's a leaf. In fact, you can use it in a lot of recipes that you would normally use spinach in. It's a early spring crop and early fall. So you could plant it 2 different times in your garden. It is one of the superfoods, so it's packed with antioxidants, and we all need to be thinking about how we can utilize kale. So I'm going to be sharing that information with those who attend the program on April 2nd. That's a Wednesday. It'll be down at the Spencer County 4-H Fairgrounds in the new community building, and we'll begin at 9 a.m. and we'll try to wrap up at noon.
Now, when you say 9 a.m. Central Time?
9 a.m. Central Time.
Okay.
Yes.
10 a.m.
Good catch on that, Bill.
Because,
yes.
You know, we're talking to 2 different groups here.
We
2
are.
different times.
We are. We have to deal with that a lot. If you're interested in attending this program, you may pre-register, and you could call your local extension office, whether you live in DuBois County or Spencer County or up in Martin County. Call your local extension office and tell them you want to go to Viva La Veggie. And we are asking for a $5 registration at the door. That's going to help us cover our costs for all the food and everything that we're going to be sharing with folks for tasting.
Well, that's the information you're going to get. That's a really low price.
Yeah.
And you can pay at the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can pay at the door.
Will you need to make a reservation?
It would be helpful to us so that we have enough recipes copied and enough sampling for everyone to get a sample of all the different recipes that we're going to be trying. So, you know, there's going to be about a great opportunity to learn some ways to prepare some of those vegetables, and we want to try to fill half our plate with fruits and vegetables, so we're focusing on vegetables at this workshop.
Now, you're doing kale.
Yes.
What are some of the other vegetables that, do you know?
Actually, tomatoes, and the heirloom tomatoes is going to be one of the other demonstrations. Sweet potatoes is going to be another one of the demonstrations.
Is that a superfood? That seems to be a food. Sweet potatoes seem lately to have come on as a food that people use more than they used to.
Well,
sweet potatoes used to be Thanksgiving, and that was it.
That's true, but they're available year-round now to us because we grow them in different parts of our country so that you can get them. They're really an easy potato to prepare. They are packed with nutrients for us. We really need to try to get at least 2 servings of orange vegetables every week. So when you think about all the different orange vegetables there are, sweet potatoes are a really easy way of getting that in, right?
I can only think of one other. That'd be carrots.
Squash.
Squash.
Butternut
okay.
squash.
All right. Well, see, that's why you know these things. So I should be coming to this, shouldn't I?
You
So I
should
can
be.
learn.
You should be. Well, maybe we can get your crew down there to
And
tape
come down
us.
and film, and we
Yeah.
could have you doing your kale recipe.
Yeah, there you
All right.
go.
And so tomatoes. Now you mentioned tomatoes, and then you said heirloom tomatoes.
Right.
What's the difference?
Well, heirloom tomatoes are tomatoes that used to be grown many years ago, and the varieties are now available. So there are different flavors. You know, not all tomatoes taste alike.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever grown yellow tomatoes in your garden. I think they taste different than the regular red tomatoes. I even think the little grape tomatoes, the little Roma tomatoes, I think they all have a little bit different flavor to them. So, you know, they'll be sharing different ways that you can utilize tomatoes, and since it's a very popular vegetable that's grown around here,
Sure.
And tips on preserving. So if you get an abundance, you know, how you might want to either freeze those or process those tomatoes.
And with this going on, when people go, they'll go home with recipes?
Yes.
Or do they need to bring a notebook? You're just
No, we will
Okay.
have recipes copied.
Wow.
We'll probably post all those to our website also, so you'll have, you know, access to those vegetable recipes, and also share resources of where people can find more produce recipes. There's some great websites out there. So, you know, we want people to think about marking April 2nd on their calendar to plan to come down to the Spencer County 4-H Community Building in south of Chrisney there on State Road 70, I believe it is.
right off of 231.
Right.
Right between the new 231 and the old 231, really, is where it lies.
Right. That's true. That's true. I forget.
And
I
it looks
forget
like
that.
a 4-H fairground, so you really can't miss it.
That's true.
Yeah, the
You
great
can't-
new building there.
You can't miss it, and the new building, and you know, it's going to be a fun day, but an educational day, and a way to learn about utilizing different vegetables.
And it starts at 9 Central
9 Central,
and goes for 3 hours.
3 hours.
Okay.
Right.
When we talk about things like this, it makes me think if some folks are out there, younger folks are thinking, you know, I'd like a career in food. What are really the work you do is neat. What are some careers that people should look at maybe for?
Well, extension is a great career, and that is one thing that people could consider, young people who are interested in community education, whether their expertise be foods and nutrition or human development, child development, or family resource management, which is about budgeting. We have opportunities with Purdue Extension. Each county in the state of Indiana has a Purdue Extension educator, so that would be one opportunity. When we think about nutrition, if you're science oriented, you might really want to consider becoming a registered dietitian. A registered dietitian is an individual who has studied nutrition science for 4 years, has done community rotations, another 5th year, and then passes a board certified test to become a registered dietitian. They are the experts in nutrition and helping people to understand the foods that they need to eat. Even within the field of dietetics, there are a lot of different opportunities for people. Today, there are dietitians that write blogs. There are people that work in media, dietitians that work in media. Maybe for a specific magazine, they might write articles. They might work in the test kitchens. There are dietitians that work at the hospital level that, you know, when you think about the intravenous feeding that people have to have, that is monitored by a dietitian. There are dietitians that work in the area of counseling, so they just work with people maybe who have concerns and want to learn how to either eat better, or maybe they're have just recently been diagnosed as a diabetic and they need counseling on how to make healthier choices. You would talk with a registered dietitian about that. There are dietitians that work in food service. In some larger school corporations, they have a dietitian that's in charge of the school food service program. There are dietitians that create foods for companies. Like some of the major food companies have individuals that work for them, and they're again in their test kitchens. I had the wonderful privilege and ability to visit General Foods and the Betty Crocker test kitchens one year. That was really interesting. You know, Betty Crocker really doesn't exist.
Yeah.
She's not real.
Not real.
And over the years, her image has changed, but there are dietitians that work in those kitchens that create a number of those recipes that you find on those boxes of products that you purchase in the grocery store. So, you know, there's so many different opportunities. If you like food, if you think you like food in any way, you can combine that with the other skills, whether you're creative and artistic, whether you want to go into journalism or broadcasting or the sciences or the healthcare industry. There are so many different opportunities, and Purdue University has a great program, and Purdue Extension is part of Purdue University, and our College of Health and Human Sciences has a number of different opportunities for young people.
And if they wanted to, they could contact you to get more
Sure.
information. Okay.
We would be glad to share any information.
Well, Jan, thank you very much.
Okay.
And we encourage folks to go to Viva La Veggie on April 2nd at the Spencer County Fairgrounds, which is where this is going to take place.
Right.
You can contact Jan at the Du Bois County Extension Office to register or to get more information. Thanks for being our guest.
Thanks,
our guest
Bill.
has been Jan Dougan. She is the Extension Educator for Du Bois County through Purdue Extension. We are WJTS, local people watching local people.